Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another grammar lesson, this time about the past passive. Without further ado, let's jump right into the lesson with a general definition about active and passive voice. In grammar, the voice simply refers to whether the subject of a sentence is the one who or which performed or received the action of the verb. In general, if the subject is known, it is better to use the active voice. However, if we don't know who or what performed the action, certainly we need to use the passive, with a special attention to what happened to the object. Now let's examine the following examples together and find out more about the passive voice. Salim bought a new bike last week. Let me ask you a few questions. Who bought a new bike last week? It is definitely Salim. As you can see, the sentence is in the active voice with the verb in the past simple, following the subject and preceding the object, which is the bike. I'd like you now to check this sentence. Salim's bike was stolen yesterday. Again, I want to ask you a few questions. Who stole Salim's bike? Actually, we don't know. As you notice, the subject is unknown, so it is someone that we don't really know. The conclusion here, the sentence is in the passive voice. If I ask you what happened to Salim's bike, it is clear that it was stolen, but we still don't know who did this. One more question. Do you know when Salim's bike was stolen? Of course, here the answer is yesterday. Departing from the previous questions about this example, we know very well what happened and when, but we don't really know who. That's what made the passive voice in the first place. In the next few examples, however, the passive can be used with known subjects and mainly used to indicate a different writing style. Still, the focus would always be on what happened. In this example, the car hit the lady. It can be expressed differently. The lady was hit by the car, just to emphasize the effect of the accident on the lady. The same with the next example. Roberto scored 2 amazing goals last match. Can also be said using a passive voice. 2 amazing goals were scored by Roberto last match. Again, we know who scored the 2 goals. Still, the 2 goals are more important in a football match than the one who scored them. Talking or writing about inventions is another reason for using the passive rather than the active voice. Let's check this example. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb in 1879. As you can see, both, let's say, the subject and the object are mentioned. If we want to focus the reader's attention on the invention as an important event, the sentence would be: the light bulb was invented by Thomas Edison in 1879. Please notice how the subject and the object swapped positions in the sentence and the addition of the preposition by before the subject. As we have seen, the passive highlights the object, which can be about an accident, winning the match, or an invention, rather than the subject who or which caused that to happen. As for the structure of the passive voice, we cannot understand it without looking at the structure of the active voice carefully, which basically consists of a subject followed by the main active verb in addition to the object, just like in the example below. The police caught the bank robber last night. The same sentence can be written or said in a different way with no change in the meaning, putting the object, the bank robber, at the beginning of the sentence, followed by passive verb was caught. Notice in this sentence that we can choose not to mention the police, and the meaning is absolutely correct. Apart from the object and the subject, the past passive verb is made up of 2 main parts. The auxiliary verb, to be in the past, was or were, depending on whether the object is singular, such as the bank robber, or plural like 2 amazing goals, plus the past participle of the main verb. Learning the past participle can be a tricky task for many learners, so it is necessary at first to make use of a verb list illustrating the past participle of each verb. As for the regular verbs, the past participle is the same as the past simple, as with invited. Some irregular verbs such as hit, it takes the same spelling all the time. Other verbs like catch have got the same form in both past simple and past participle. With steal, however, the past participle is slightly different from the past simple. Here we have stole and stolen. Regarding the negative and interrogative forms, the rule is quite simple and easy to learn. In the negative form, the object of the sentence must be followed by wasn't or weren't plus past participle. Let's read the example. The customers weren't served well at the restaurant. In the interrogative form, we need to make some changes in the position of some words. Here we put was or were in the first place, plus the object in the middle, then the past participle, as in the following example. Was the front door fixed? Please bear in mind that in the active voice there must be an object in the sentence to change it into passive. Here special attention must be given to the type of verb used in the sentence. This means that if we use verbs like write, make, fix and play, there must be an object following the verb so we can change it into passive. Otherwise, if we use intransitive verbs such as sleep, laugh, cry and drain, it is then impossible to try to transform the active sentence into the passive, simply because there is no object. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our lesson. Hope you'll make the most of it. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another lesson.